can't do that. And then in 1974, and this is a very obscure sci-fi reference, there's a film called Dark Star. And Dark Star was about a bunch of hippies who were flying around in a spaceship, going to planetary systems that had a planet that they might want to colonize in the future. But if there was planets with wobbly orbits that might damage this good planet, they'd blow the dodgy planet up. And they'd use intelligent bombs to do it. Unfortunately, this intelligent bomb came out the bottom of the bomb bay and refused to release. So this the main character had to go outside and have this big philosophical chat with this robot, who eventually decided he was God and said, "Let there be light." And that was the end at the end of the spaceship. And of course, 1978, that took us into C3PO and R2D2, when we all realized that robots could be really, really cute and annoying at the same time. So there we go. And then, well, then Terminator happened. And that was it. It all went particularly dark, and everybody thinks that AI is going to destroy the world now, thanks to Terminator. But I don't believe it. I believe in a bicentennial man world. Do you remember with Robin Williams and the robot that wanted to be human? Very, very similar to Mr. Data as well. I think there was a bit of crossover there. Okay, so in the real world, when we get to science, where does it come from? So there was this awful robot. I've seen pictures of it. It looked terrifying. 1929, Makoto Mishimura. He created the first friendly robot, they called it. It looked horrible. If you look it up, Makoto Mishimura, you'll see pictures of this robot. It's just like, oh, you poor thing. Why did they even bother creating it? Alan Turing, well, this is quite interesting. So we've all seen the film The Imitation Game. Well, The Imitation Game was an essay he wrote about the Turing test. So he created this idea of the Turing test to see if AI would be realistic. And they took the name of that paper about the Turing test and applied it to the film about his work in World War II. So The Imitation Game is actually the paper about the Turing test. And then Arthur Samuel was, I think he was an IBM scientist, and he wrote a checkers program that would actually play against humans in 1952. Artificial intelligence, the term, was first used in 1955 at a workshop by computer science John McCarthy. So that's where the actual phrase comes from. And then we had a bit of a leap forward. So we had an AI programming language that was actually created back in 1958. People, funny enough, are still using it. It's been refined and evolved over time. Our first industrial robots were working on the General Motors production line. They were very simple back then, but they were certainly helping. And then our first chatbot, I can't find very much about Eliza, but again, another female name because of Homer's Iliad. And she was created in 1966. And then the AI drought happened. So into the 70s and early 80s, there was not a lot of funding for AI because it wasn't giving the money people or the bean counters the results that they were expecting. So they kind of pulled other funding. Not, it was only the big boys were playing with it, IBM and stuff. So they didn't really do much with it until Deep Blue beat Grand Chess Master Kasparov in 1997, and then everybody was suddenly really interested in AI again. So it started getting funding. The first Roomba came along, and that proved visual acuity. It could do mapping and stuff like that. And then, of course, Spirit and Opportunity, they were only supposed to be up there for like 3 or 4 months, and they lasted for years. They were on Mars, and you just say, oh, go over to that rock over there. And the next time they communicated with it, it was there by the rock. So it was they were actually navigating independently. So it was all getting cleverer and cleverer and much cleverer. 2006, we started getting annoyed with our social media feeds because they were sort of building the echo chambers and showing us there's AI all behind that. Then we got movement tracking, which obviously brought into the CGI film world, but that came from the Xbox as well. So you can sort of track what you're doing. And then IBM created Watson, which went on Jeopardy on a modified version of Jeopardy and actually beat 2 former champions. So AI is getting cleverer and cleverer and more capable the entire time. And then Apple released Siri, and everyone was like, oh, Siri, do this, do that, do the other. So Siri, we've got Alexa as well. We've got all sorts of things going on. So where are we now with AI? We're actually in a good place, I think. OpenAI, ChatGPT-4 and DALL-E's 3, the very heart of what I do. Text, images, text to speech, vision processing. There'll be video along at some point. So one day we might actually have newspapers that look like Harry Potter world with moving characters in them. That'd be quite cool. Other models coming online, things like Bard as well. Can't really not say that. And then, of course, David's favorite GPTs, but my favorite APIs. Okay, so it's all really useful. And of course, I created your AI and released that as well. So there you go. So we are in a good place. Coming soon, Microsoft's going to release Copilot. It's in testing. It probably has been released by now. It's a paid for service. You can take a spreadsheet and say, okay, I need to do a presentation to the board, create a PowerPoint presentation about my facts and figures on the slide. It does a lot more than that, but that's a very general summary. It'll be available in Office and Outlook and all sorts of stuff for you. Google is extending Bard integration all the way across their ecosystem. So you know, you go into the Google search engine and it'll actually give you AI results as well as just physical, here's a bunch of URLs. And then I'm hoping ChatGPT 5 and DALL-E 4 at some point this year as well. DALL-E 4, I'm really hoping it will let me upload a reference image. So, for example, if I want to be a Jedi on Coruscant, I just upload my passport picture and it says, that's what my face looks like. Let's turn her into a Jedi. That'd be quite cool. So they're the sort of things I want to do with it. ChatGPT 5, just get cleverer and faster, and away we go from there. So what does the future hold for AI? Well, I don't think it's going to be blowing us up anytime soon, but fully automated production lines, Tesla are nearly there. You can actually, you know, there's very few people on the Tesla production lines. It's all done robotically, and it will eventually all be done robotically. And that will go from anything from, you know, making a pie to building a car, you know, or even an aeroplane or a spaceship. You know, it's all going to happen. And then we're going to have robotic warehousing. So you're actually going to have physical robots that take the raw materials from the warehouse, put them in the production line, take the end product, put it back into the warehouse as a finished product ready for dispatch and stuff. And then we'll be dispatching through AI drone delivery. Now, whether we'll be delivering a Tesla via a drone, I don't know, because that's probably a bit big. But drone delivery is certainly advancing. You can do it. We've seen, I don't know if you live around the Northampton, Milton Keynes area or any other major city, got the little white robots delivering food. Well, these will be proper drones that fly over your house using mapping and then just lower down your products onto your patio, which will be pretty damned impressive, I think. We're going to have properly intelligent self-driving cars. You know, why do we need to own a car when we can get like an automated Uber? We just push a button, say, I want to go there. Car turns up, takes us, and then goes off to its next pickup. And then conversational assistants, Alexa, it's happening with Alexa at the moment. Hey, Alexa, let's chat. In the UK, it won't work, but in America, you can play with it. It's going to be an extra paid for service. It makes Alexa a lot more conversational rather than just having it do one thing at a time. And then finally, we will eventually get to artificial general intelligence. So if you imagine that everything that's happened so far is AI on a subconscious level, okay, the AGI, the artificial general intelligence, will bring the conscious level into it. So you're going to end up with robots with AGI that will look you in the eye when you're having a conversation with them. At the moment, they don't do that. They just sort of like, what? I don't know. So it's really going to up the level of connection between humans and robots. And coming soon as well. Well, imagine your entire bookkeeping, everything from invoicing and billing all the way through to filing your tax return with HMRC is completely automated. You can just say, you know, hey Siri, Alexa, whatever, how's my, you know, my cash flow, that sort of thing, and it'll just talk to you about it, and it'll automatically pay your bills for you as well. Fully intelligent chatbots for everything from sales to support and training. I have to say I'm working on that this weekend. Don't know how intelligent it is, but it does use ChatGPT. Automated social media management. Well, I'm kind of halfway there. I've got the two sides that I need to connect them together. So it just create a bunch of posts for February. It will create them, it will post them and set them up and organize them for you. But the other side of the coin is like if somebody comments, getting it to say thank you very much and sort of, oh, thanks for the comments, really good. If you want a demo, click here, that sort of thing. So you've got those three parts. It's creating the post, it's setting it up and sharing it automatically, it's commenting, that sort of thing. It's even talking to, hey, would you like to connect? So there's a long way to go on that. There are tools that do some of it, and hopefully they'll be doing more of it soon. And then we're going to have we've got facial trackers, infrared facial trackers. We've got Windows Hello webcams that can look at what you're doing, look at your facial expressions, that sort of thing. Well, how about proper video avatars? So if I come onto Zoom and I'm on Coruscant with my Jedi outfit on, that'll be AI driven. So it's sort of, all this has sort of led me to think and start pondering quite deeply, how as a solo entrepreneur do I build Your PCM into a 10,000 subscriber business using AI to automate it as much as possible. I think that might be a bit big. I think maybe your AI, not Your PCM, maybe your AI I can build into an automated system. I need to think about that. I need to think about what features I need to build into it to allow it to be its own. It's a sort of recurring strategy on it, but we'll see anyway. Can one person run something of that size? I don't know. Why do I need a team if I can get AI to do my sales and my marketing, my support and my billing and everything? So it's something I'm thinking about at the moment. And then finally, as we move into the Android world, we need to think about the 3 laws of robotics. Okay, now Isaac Asimov came up with this. They have been mentioned in films, particularly I, Robot with Will Smith, which is quite a good one. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. That is rule number 1, and rule number 2 and rule number 3 are all in support of that. Unfortunately, if you put those rules in any other order, you end up with a world full of murder bots. Okay, so that's where the Terminator world comes from. Because if a robot must protect itself before it must protect a human, it's going to kill the human to protect itself. So murder bot. We don't want murder bots. So we're going to keep Asimov's 3 laws in that order. But I will suggest a 4th law. Okay, this is Steffi's 4th law of robotics. Under no circumstances should artificial intelligence be given access to nuclear weapons. Simple as that. That's the 4th law. Don't do it. No weapons of mass destruction for artificial intelligence. Here endeth the lesson. Thank you very much. Any questions? And there's my shameless plug about Your AI if you want to go and sign up. Thank you. All done.
Thanks, Steffi. Brilliant.
Thanks, Steffi. It really was fascinating. Absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant, Steffi. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. Any questions?
Yeah. So the 3 laws, Asimov. I read somewhere that when they were testing automated cars, they had an issue or a crash or something happened that sort of conflicted that. It was something like, there's a bus full of kids on one side and there's some people on the, what do they do? It's like, what do you do? And I probably haven't said that very well at all, but
a lorry blocked a car, didn't it, in California? The guy was killed because it blocked the signal.
Yeah, there's also there was in San Francisco, there was a big automated car company, taxi company, that they were just about to be granted their license to run the whole of San Francisco, and they ran this poor lady over because it had a choice between running the lady over or swerving and crashing the car itself into a wall and hurting the occupant. So it was its priority. The occupant itself, the person in the road, So there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered.
Fascinating.
Yeah, the example I give about the 3 laws in I, Robot with Will Smith. In the beginning, what happened, there was an accident with him. There was 2 cars crashed. One had a little girl in it because the parent got thrown out, and they were both sinking into this river. And the robot that rescued Will Smith decided he had a better chance of survival than the girl, which is why you know, but he was a cop, and he said, well, you should have saved the little girl, you know, because I'd have given my life to save that little girl, but the robot didn't because of the statistics. So there's a long way to go yet, but
There is a long way to go. Gosh, can you imagine? Well, what an accountant's going to do?
well, I mean, you know, with the stuff I'm doing in Your AI, copywriters, virtual assistants as well, you know, that's real stuff happening now. Social media people, it's all going to affect them all. Well, I mean, you know, with the stuff I'm doing in Your AI, copywriters, virtual assistants as well, you know, that's real stuff happening now. Social media people, it's all going to affect them all, and there's going to be a lot of industries affected by AI, and there's going to be a lot of people retraining or falling behind.
Yeah, because it's like there's a not philosophical question, political question, because is this going to make a very small number of people even richer than they are already and become trillionaires, or, you know, because they're going to have to find a way of spreading the benefits of AI, as I see it, across the population, you know, rather than make it.
Well, the one
the
thing
guy,
I have
you
to
know.
say, and this is my view, so everything I do with Your AI, with my system, is about support. It's there to support you. It's not there to replace anyone. Okay. It's like, you know, we can get it to create a blog post. You know, I can type in one sentence, why are leaves green? There's my blog post. But, you know, you have to read it. You have to read it. You have to edit it. You have to put your own personality into it, because it's very dry. And you look at, I mean, I look at a piece of text and I can tell straight away it was AI driven. You know, so for example, my spelling is British English, but if there's any Z's in words like prioritize and organize, I know that was AI generated. And I also know that the person who created it doesn't pay attention to detail. So, you know, you've got to review it and put it in your voice. Never use raw AI stuff.
No.
Sorry, Steffi,
there is
a
couple
quick
of things.
question.
Yeah, go on. Sorry,
Sorry,
Kim, go on.
okay, thank you. I'm just trying to talk quietly here. Steffi, if I give AI what I think my personality is, and then I'll ask it to write an article or a post or whatever with using my personality, it will do that, right?
Well, to a certain degree, you can't detail your personality. There's no way of writing a script to say, this is me, this is all my experiences throughout my entire life, and this is how I interact with the world. But what you can do is you can give it a friendly tone. You can say it must
Yes.
be English. You can give it a point of view. You can say, you know, for example, I am an accountant, and this is the SEO key phrase I want to use. Write a blog post about the upcoming budget. You know, and it would do it. But then what you do is you go in and say, well, actually, I wouldn't say that. I'd say it in a different way. And then you edit it, and that puts it into your voice. So something that would take you an hour with AI takes 5 minutes, but you need to add 10, 15 minutes in to tweak it. So it's still saving you a lot of time, you know, but it's giving you the foundation to work from.
There's another one called there's one called Now AI that I use. It's an MLM as well, actually, but it's asks you to type in stuff. The more of your own stuff in your own words that you type in, the better it gets, and over time it trains itself to be writing like you do. So you do have to put a bit of work in at the beginning. It asks you lots of questions and asks you to type in text, but eventually it comes up with something that approximates your own natural style, if you like. But I mean, it's
quite fascinating, isn't it? It's just, you know, something that worries me a little bit about AI. I mean, you know, I love it, embrace it. I think it's going to make a very positive difference to most of us. But well, it already has. Think about my recipe questions. But it's the open nature of it. I think Reid Hoffman has created one called Phi, and it's open source, completely open source. Worries me about the tracking that's going on and the data collections that's going on, because ChatGPT and Bart, they will do it. I already have done actually, and I can see law cases coming, you know, huge amounts in the years to come. But sorry, I'll turn myself off for a second. My phone's going. Answered. Sorry, quick. But yeah, where does that lead us? You know, the data, the proprietary nature of the AI, some of the AI models that are being. Is that something that concerns anyone else, or?
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean the copyright issue is something because it's, you know, scours the webs and uses sort of documents and things to input. There is a
There
has been
are
question.
lawsuits against OpenAI. I think it's the New York Times or the Washington Post have said, we don't like the fact you used our entire archive of articles to train your models and you didn't pay us. It's greed, but it's obvious. You know, we've spent 100 years building this archive and you just came in and just harvested it without our permission. So there are issues about building models. It'll get sorted out. I mean, there's no threat to OpenAI. I mean, they're not going to shut down ChatGPT anytime soon.
What I've got an issue with, in one aspect, I mean, David, you'll probably know this from a website kind of thing. One aspect, they're turning around and saying, yeah, use Bard, use AI for creating posts, blogs, use it on your website, etc. And then Google are then on the flip side penalizing if it finds out that you've actually is looking at your website, seeing on your SEO that you're actually using using AI. So they want the cake and then they want to eat it, and that's what.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sorry, I'm at a lot. I don't know what the question is.
Which is why you need to edit what it creates, because
absolutely,
okay, so
yeah.
if I go into your AI and create a blog post, so if I type in "Y leaves green" and it creates it, the last paragraph will always have the words "in conclusion" at the beginning of it, always, because that's what AI does, because that's the way it writes. So there's lots of little telltale signs. It's like, you know, you're in England and you should be writing in British English. If there's a Z in the word organize, if there's in conclusion on the last paragraph, if the first or second paragraph says, in this blog post, we will take a deep dive into, these are all phrases that are obviously AI. And that's why I always say it's about supporting you, not replacing you. You can't abdicate all your content creation from AI. You can't do it. You have to put some personality into it.
But what I'm saying is that there's a conflict of interest with regards to Google itself by turning around 1 minute actually creating AI with using Bard and then actually penalizing you for using AI on your websites. So that's what I'm saying. That there's Google want it all their own way.
Google are very greedy. I'll give you a perfect example. When I was writing the discovery tool into your PCM, I actually had a huge row with them because they said, oh, you can't take our data. And I went, well, oh, okay, so your entire business model is about scraping data.
Yeah.
You know, and you won't let me scrape data. You know, so that was my conflict. Thankfully, I found a third party to do it. So, you know, I'm just like, oh, sod you, Google. I'll just get your data anyway. But
I'm sorry to interject. I've got to leave. I've just had the email that I was expecting. So, Steffi, thank you very much. David, thank you for arranging. Really enjoyed it. And have a great weekend, everyone. Sorry.
Thanks, Jane. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. So yeah, I do agree with you, Joanne. They do want it both ways. They want
I mean,
I know Bard's free, but they basically want to sell you a system and then penalise you for using it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the other thing is them changing the Google again changing their algorithms every 2 seconds, so that by the time you actually got caught up and learned, well, not when you're doing pay per click, and then all of a sudden it's changed, and you just think, gits.
Yeah. Well, I'm just updating my name there. So here's my shameless plug. Go and have a look at your AI.
I've had a look,
Everything on that page, everything on that website was AI generated. So all the images, all the words, the audio, you'll never tell that audio is AI. It's really, really good. And if you want to have a demo, if you want to sign up and play with it, get 25 tokens for free. That's here ended the shameless plug, and I'll shut up now.
It's got I think you got a letter missing in your
I have. Oh, look at me typing quickly.
I know.
There we go. Thank you very much.
I'm a master at that. Typing in wrong stuff. Okay, that was brilliant. Thanks, Steffi.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Of course. Cameron. Yeah.
It's about, instead of texting a question, can you actually speak to and then create Chat GPT can create it without actually texting it, typing it in?
If you've got the app on your phone, you can talk to the app. In fact, you can have a conversation. You know, Steffi had a little slide there about conversational things, but you can actually more or less do it now. I mean, with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
If you've got the phone app, I've got it on my phone.
Oh, it's a phone app though. You can't do it on desktop.
Not at the moment. I can't imagine it'll be long coming, but at the moment the app works in that. It's got that feature, and you just press it, and you can just talk to it. Like I can sit here with a coffee in the morning. I just talk to ChatGPT, which is what I was doing this morning, which is why I've run out of runtime, and then it then puts it all into a chat for you. You can then access on the computer. You know, like the ChatGPT screen. It all is in there, so you can be sitting there eating your breakfast, going to the toilet, whatever it is you're doing, and you can have a conversation with it.
Versions. So on Windows, they've got Cortana, and on the Mac, they've got Siri. So you can already have conversations on your PCs, but ChatGPT does take that up to another level. Yeah. But yes, it's app only for audio interaction at the moment.
Yeah. But it is really useful. Somebody bailed. Kim,
yeah.
Bailed out. Okay. I think I'm going to be a little bit shorter than what I was planning anyway, and then I'll put the because I was going to do some sort of DALL-E stuff. I was trying to find out how to, what the problem we've got with creating images is getting the words right, because it's nearly always wrong, and then people keep giving me things that I should be doing. So put in the words in brackets, round brackets, and put in quotation marks around them, around the brackets, and that worked for me 3 times on the trot, and I thought, blimey, cracked it. And then I did it again, and it put 3 L's into something, so it's kind of I think that will improve. We're talking about the next levels, ChatGPT 5 is coming out later this year, and sort of DALL-E.
I think DALL-E 4 is going to be a game changer. I mean, I got the avatar builder built into your AI, but you cannot get a consistent image from it. It's impossible. DALL-E 2 lets you take the seed and gives you some consistency. DALL-E 3 doesn't let you do that. I'm hoping DALL-E 4 lets you upload a reference image.
I'm going to say I can't get DALL-E to work. It just looks so AI that it's just not.
Well, there's a little phrase that you can add to the end of your DALL-E prompt, which is focus on the realism of the humans or of the subject.
Yeah, if that's what you want. Sometimes you want a funny cartoon, but I mean,
I mean, you've got different styles. I mean, there's a whole range of styles. I mean, I can do steampunk images, I can do surreal, sci-fi, noir, but I always default it to realistic. So, I mean, if you said, we have to also describe things like Caucasian businesswoman in casual attire, that sort of thing. So you've got to get quite.
Got to get the prompt right, yeah.
But you can also say concentrate on the realism of the subject.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah. As I say, I don't particularly. I've played with it, but I'm not particularly.
Well, seriously, Joe, have a free trial of your AI. There's 25 tokens there. It won't cost you anything, so you can have a play with the image generator in there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The other one is Midjourney, but Midjourney is more advanced than DALL-E at the moment, and you can upload a reference image, but it's such a pain in the ass having to use Discord. And so you have to use Discord to generate the images. You can access your images via Midjourney's website, but you have to create them on, which they're going to change apparently. So I'm not going to push that at the moment, because it's.
Have a look at Leonardo.ai if you're just purely about images.
Yeah, there's a Leonardo app as well. That's not bad. Again, you can do a free free trial of it, see if you like it or not. But it's so it's trying to create those images that don't look. Again, it's all about the prompts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've
That's the key.
seen enormously long prompts to get a particular picture, and I've seen some great results, but they're being very, very specific about what they want. So it's sometimes I've seen a prompts like half a page long, and it's and they've got a great image at the end, but it's yeah. So I guess it's worth spending that time if you're going to get a great image at the end. But it's I can't show you DALL-E on at the moment because because of my issues. What I'll do is I'll just show you a couple of cool plugins that I've found in the today and yesterday actually. Let me just I'll share this. This is Opera. I think I mentioned it last week. It's a plugin called Video Summarizer. So and it says I accidentally keyed in. Normally I'll key in. It's when you go into Explore GPTs. There's one called Video Summarizer, and you can just say here is a YouTube video link, and just paste in your video link, and it will. This was a webinar I'd seen, and it was live on YouTube. 91 Day Success to Do Websites Still Matter in 2024. So I asked it to give me a summary, and it basically gives you just that. So it's an hour long, but it gives you a short headlines, and then you can ask questions. You can ask it questions because it's got the full script and everything in there.
Oh, that's not bad, because the thing is, there's a lot of waffle on some of the videos, especially when they go on for an hour and a half, and you're thinking there's about 10 minutes of good quality stuff, and then I love that.
That's right. I mean, it's got example questions about the video. You can key in 1, 2, or 3. It'll give you 3 of those. Or you could, you could the Google Map Pack and local SEO tell me more about that. So you can key that in natural language. You don't need any specialist language. So I thought that was a really cool GPT. So it's called Video Summarizer. The other one I was going to talk about, there was another one. The other one I was going to talk about was QR codes, but I'm gonna kick that particular can down the road because I was going to show you, and I can't do that at the moment because ChatGPT 3.5 doesn't do QR codes. So it's basically if I just quickly summarize what I was going to do is you can I think everybody knows what a QR code is. It's QR quick response code. It's just a 2-dimensional pattern that you can then scan in with your phone that will take you to a website or or have your contact details on it. So you can key into ChatGPT 4. You can key in create a QR code for me, David Harris. My email address is david@peppercorn.biz. My telephone number is 07840502509, and my business name is Peppercorn, just for want of a better one. And you can add other information that's on a thing and create a QR code, and it will just create it. You download it, you can put it on the notes on your phone, and then you can just show it to people, or you can put it on stationery, or you can if you're in the case of a builder, you can put it on the back of your van or whatever, or you can just have your website. So it's a great way of getting information out, and they're hugely popular, and it's now you can just create it. It's so easy to create it on ChatGPT. So I think I was gonna show that. And there was another one as well that I found. You can see my screen still, can't you? So I create. I've got load of other rubbish in here as well. But if you look at the top, I just create a QR code to go to peppercorn.biz, and then it's just did it, and you just download it. That's it, done. So it's it was quite straightforward. And let's see if I can find. Oh no, that was. I'll create the cartoon yesterday because I had another flat tire a couple of days ago. So I just created. I was creating a Facebook post, because it's good to create those, even if they're personal ones. But that was a blog I wrote. That was, I've already mentioned that as well. That's not okay. I can't. Why do women wear high heels? This was, I'm not gonna go into that too deeply, but you can. I mean, ChatGPT is great for things like that as well. You know, so there's it's you know, and it tells you why. You know, so I mean, if you're writing blogs or posts or things that you want, because sometimes it's about being visible. It's not necessarily about specializing in your field. It's doing the odd funny posts and things so that, you know, just to keep conversation going. So so that's I'm gonna stop my share there. So good. So we'll there's a couple of other things I'll do next time with there. Now I don't know whether I should we run this every week or every 2 weeks. What do you reckon? There's but there's because there's plenty of stuff we can find, come up with, you know. So it's I'm not sure, but I'll think about that. And if
I'm happy to do every week, because the thing is, it's all about sharing, and
yeah,
like Steffi's great presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I always wondered why they were always female voices, and now I know that it's
Yeah.
do you know? And I always put it. I thought it was subservient, and that's what I thought. That's where it was from. But yeah. So yeah, it's been really good. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy to do every week, but I'm happy to go with the consensus.
Yeah, because it is because we learn loads. I mean, I've learned loads from Steffi. She's brilliant. But there's I've, you know, I sort of nerdle around myself as well, you know, and I do find out stuff, and you get the cool GPTs and all the other stuff that's available. That's you do have to pay the subscription, the $20 a month for that, or to get those GPTs. But and say it depends what you're actually looking to do. Some people are more focused on their blogs and their social media posts and things, and there might be other tools. Well, there are other tools, as we know from Steffi's and things that are come along all the time. But Steffi adds new stuff all the time, so it's kind of
I think the other thing is that being able to share other GPTs that you've actually seen or played with that you think's great, because I know that I've gone on the Explore GPTs, and some of them are marketing, copywriting, and some of them are really basic, and yet some of them are quite good that you can then actually manipulate. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, go with the flow.
Okay. So we'll do that. I'm gonna finish 5 minutes early because I've run out of my my list because I can't show it to you. But if there's any other questions, but yeah, we'll do a schedule for next week. We'll definitely talk about chatbots because that's going to be awesome. But I think we're better off doing that when Steffi's done.
Steffi, are you actually creating a chat box then? A chat bot to actually go on websites and things like that?
Yeah, so there's lots of different complicated ways to do it. David was telling me about you have to do chart flow mapping and all.
Yeah, that's right.
Mine's different. Mine is you just put a whole pile of Q&As in there, and then it'll just intelligently answer it for you. So I'm working on that this weekend. Should be available. In fact, if you do sign up to your AI, you'll see in the first, because it'll actually appear. But there's things like, you know, what do you want the icon to look like? What color scheme do you want to use in the pop-up window? Does the window go left or right? You know, how do you want it to help people? Is it a sales thing? So you put everything you know from your sales conversations. What Q&As would you have with somebody? And and that would appear on your front end. But you could have one for each page in your website, all within.
Yeah, that's
you know, if you wanted to. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Billing it's going to be different because I work on a, you know, if you create a blog, it's one token. But how do I bill a chatbot? You know, is it every time it's open, do I charge a token or a half token, or you know, it's these are the things I've got to work out. But actually building the chatbots, all you need to do is take one line of code, tell it to use this chatbot, drop it in your website, and it'll work.
Oh, right, okay. And then
The
you fill it in behind the scenes.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that if you have a sales conversation with somebody offline and they ask you a question you've not included in your chatbot, just put it in your chatbot. So the next time somebody a question in there straight away, you know, you've just added to it. That's the thing. So it's a thing that can evolve over time.
Right. Okay.
It's the beauty of the AI version is that as opposed to our flowcharts is the NLP, is the natural language processing. So you can key something that's not exactly what you keyed in as a question, but means the same thing, and it will direct you to that.
The example is you can say you can put a question and answer. What is your phone number? 01908 whatever. What is your email address? Steph. But if somebody was to say to the chatbot, how do I contact you? It would say you can reach Steffi on 01908 or by email. And so it's intelligently building its responses from the whole set of Q&A that you put in there.
Because the other one that I've actually been looking at is SalesApe, which is being plugged on bloody Facebook at the moment. And that's basically a case of it will follow up on all your quotes that you've actually done in the last month and turn around and say, right, okay, and it'll do it via WhatsApp or do it by email, by text. Is that something that you could also do?
You know, it's completely unlimited.
Yes.
You know, and when I come up with I get ideas and I try to work out how to make it happen. It's like the chatbots. I've always looked at a chatbot the way David looks at it. It's flow charting and responses and this, that.
Yeah.
When I read this blog post the other day, just randomly, and went, oh, hang on a minute, this is how you do it using ChatGPT. It's actually 10 times easier. So let's build that into the system and offer it as an extra service. So whereas with your AI, you know, you want to generate a blog post, it's one token. If you want to generate an image, it's 2 tokens, and audio is 2 tokens, that sort of thing. I need to figure out now, you know, do I charge a token every time the chat window opens? You know, that sort of thing, or do I just charge 10 tokens when you create the chat bot? You know, so that's literally the tiniest part that I need to work out. It's all in my head of how to write this code, and I'm going to make it work over the weekend.
Right. Okay. So, but there are different chat bots that you could actually create. One to do via email, one to do by telephone. Text. One to do on your website, etc.
Or web. No, it's only for your website. It's only for your website. So for example, your AI would have 2 chatbots. One on the front end that would talk about sales and, you know, what does it do and how does it work and what are the features, this, that, the other. And then one inside, which is more support oriented. So as people log in and oh, how do we do this? How do we do?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You know, so this builds on my idea of, can I release this product and put it out into the wild and have absolute minimal input to it?
Yes.
You know, and this is like the first level that I'm building in there.
Okay. Look. Yeah. Interested to find out more, and knowing you'll have had it done by what?
Done by Monday.
It will be done and in testing by Monday.
Yes.
I'm testing it inside your AI with itself.
Yeah.
You know, whether I release it on Monday, I don't know.
I'm only joking with you.
Okay.